Hey, I'm Emmanuel, and welcome to my workbench. Today I'll be hunting pennies. I was able to get 20 rolls of pennies from my bank, and let's see what we can find. Roll 7, I think I just spotted something here. Do you see it right there? It says George. There we go, we got a King George. What year is it? 1947. Anything else? I got an American. Another one here. 1990, 1997. Oh, a young head over here, 1961. Oh, a very crusty American. What? My gosh, let me put it under the scope. I'll put the picture up here. Yeah. Oh my gosh. 1916. That is awesome. 1916. Anything else in this roll? Another American over here. Well, if I find anything else, I'll bring you in. Well, here are the finds after 10 rolls halfway through the hunt. I did find 4 1983 near bead varieties, which are the rarer variety for this penny. I found also a 1988 and a 1989 in fantastic condition that will be upgrading the ones in my book. The star of the show for the Canadians is this 1947 and this 1956. And I also set aside these young heads, 361s, 362s, a 63, and 264s. On the American side of the board, the stars of the show are this 1916 and 1953D. But I also have some 1960s. All the way down, the newest coins that I have are 1997. Nothing newer than 1997 for the Americans. I'll bring you in on any significant finds in the second half of my coin roll hunt. I'm bringing you in on roll 11, the first roll of the second half. It looks to me like this roll is mostly American pennies. Oh, I do see a Canadian there, but it does look like most of this is American pennies. So I'll bring you in on anything, any Wheaties in here, I will bring you back. Bringing you in on roll 19, the second last roll of this 20 roll hunt. And it looks to me like this is another roll of mostly American pennies. Mostly newer pennies. Some of the Shield and some of the Lincoln Memorial. If I find any in here that are wheat cents, I will bring you in again. Well, roll 20 is much more of the same. Mostly, if not all, American pennies. I will let you know if there are any wheat pennies in here. And if not, we will go to the conclusion for this last half of the hunt. This last and final roll did produce 3 wheat cents, a 1942, a 1945, and a 1955D. Ooh, can't wait to see if that's the double die variety. I'll come back with the conclusion for these last 10 rolls. Canadian finds for this last half, so I did find 2 1967 doves, a 1961, a 1964, and 2 1965s. Though these are not young heads, they do have, there are 4 varieties. There's either pointed 5 or blunt 5, and there's either large beads or small beads, and the combinations make for 4 different varieties. These are the 2 more common ones, which is the blunt 5 small beads variety, but the one on the left is in excellent condition and might upgrade the one in my book. I will let you know later. And a non-American foreign, a 5 Pfennig German coin with a G mint mark from 1971. And now on to the Americans. And the Americans, there is a completely corroded American that my best guess is in the 1990s, maybe 95, maybe 93, but I set that aside. The stars of the show, the three wheats that I found, 1942, 1945, and 1955D. And then in the 60s, I have a 60. I have some 64, 65, 66, 68, and 65. And then from the 70s, I have 70 and 71. And then from 73, I have every single year up to 2017. So now I'm going to go and check to see if I have any varieties. I'm filming this bit by bit because of the sheer number of pennies that I have. So for my 1914 on, I'm going to fill a hole with a nice example of the shield reverse. I'm going to upgrade to 2014, the 2015. I'm going to fill a hole with the 2015D, fill a hole with the 2016P, the 2017P as well. Continuing on with the 2010s, I'm upgrading my 2010P, I fill a hole with a 2010D, fill a hole with a 2011P, and I'm upgrading my 2012 and my 2013 Philadelphia. For the 2010s, no varieties were found. No varieties found in the 2000s, but we have some book fillers. A 2002D will fill a spot. 2008D will fill a spot. I found a 2009 Professional Life that will fill a spot from Philadelphia. Moving on to the 1990s. In the 90s, no book fillers and no varieties, but I do have a whole bunch of upgraders. A 1990 Philly, a 1991 Philly, a 1992 Philly, 1993 Denver, 1990 Denver, 1994 Philly, and a 1995 Philly, 1997 Philly, and 1998 Philly. We'll all upgrade the ones in my books. On to the 80s. No varieties found in the 1980s, but I do get a couple of book fillers and upgrades. I upgrade my 1981 Philadelphia, and I found a 1982 copper small date and a 1982 zinc small date. Still missing the 1982D zinc small date. Upgrading the 1984P, the 1986D, and the last one that I'm upgrading is the 1989D. On to the 70s. The 1970s, no varieties found in the 1970s, but several upgraders. 1970D will be upgraded. The 1975P, 1976D, 1978P, 1979P, and D will also be upgraded. Now on to the rest of the years, the 60s and earlier. The final upgrades, we have a 1966 and 65 that will be upgrading. Both 64 and 64D will be upgrading. Over here, we have the 1960 and 60D will be upgrading. The 1955D will be upgrading. I will be upgrading my 1942. And of course, 1916 fills a hole in my book. The oldest penny that I have from the United States being a 1910. Well, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this penny hunt. Of course, that American 1916 was a great addition to my book, and I got lots of upgraders going on my American coins. So it was a good 20 coin hunt. I hope you do enjoy these kinds of videos. If you do, hit that thumbs up. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.